willing to dig down deep, get some understanding. Here's what I propose. The school is the very best place for our children like that. Or is it outdated? Is that how the question about me being educated? Yes, it is. Why? Because my boys didn't have scholarship that I would have been faced with. Me and my wife were paying out of pocket hundreds of thousands of dollars for education that they may not even be able to get a job when they get out. So my thinking is at this point is that we need to look at trade. That's one of the ways you restore a community. Because if your boy can do plumbing, your boy can do electricity, your boy can do heating and air conditioning, you can restore the community. Why? Because they know how to hustle. They give them a legal hustle. Let them legally hustle, and then turn around and work for someone and learn the skills and employ others. And then they see the images of young black boys in these communities being different. And then we turn away from putting our value system in the hands of entertainers and athletes. I'm a former athlete. I know best. I was one of those highly recruited athletes in Moneyland at the table when we were poor and etc. without a father inside of the household. I don't have an excuse to not raise my children just because I did not have a blueprint on how to raise a boy. I didn't have that. I still raise my children. It is our obligation, our responsibility. Take this with you today. Behavior don't lie. Behavior don't lie. The only question that you need to ask is it intentional or is it accidental? But the behavior is true to itself. So when you are looking at what your kid is doing in the household, who they talking to and etc., me and Jabari, you're not texting. I want to hear you talk in this household. So I know that you can communicate outside this household, but you also know how to communicate with others in a way that we can listen to see exactly what's going on in the household. Now we're going to sit and type all night long. We're going to sleep with the phone on the side of their ear and radiation pouring into their mind and destroying the mind at the same time. It is our obligation and our responsibility. We need a reset. Everybody needs a reset. The family needs a reset. The school needs a reset. The community needs a reset. We need a reset in America right now.
Oh, that's good. Y'all should give them a hand. Y'all should be clapping right now. I want to direct this question to BFG Boots, and then we're going to start talking about some solutions. Boots, man, you just spoke, you talked about the father getting shot. Right, y'all both sitting on the porch. In the past, you got shot twice. 2 years ago, 22. You got shot 5 more times. You also mentioned earlier that you started the whole BFG movement, and I'm quite sure BPD and the rest of the city of Dallas moved around. But you're on a different path now, right? You're on a different path. And I want you, and we're going to come back and talk about solutions, but I want you to speak to the young booster who is out there right now, that's driven, that's doing all that stuff. Speak to that young brother right now on where you at, whatever word you can give them, whoever listening, and how to pull them, or whatever it was that made you say, I gotta do something different. Because again, for people that's coming in, I said all that, but Boosie is an entrepreneur. Boosie work. Boosie has his clothing line. Boosie has his shoe line. He coached people. He recruited my nephew to the team. There's another one right there in Texas. Yeah, there's another one team in Texas. And he spent a lot of time. You know, every time he take off from work, it's because he committed his time to that team. So I want you to speak to the young folks, 17 that's really I had your same makeup. Speak to him because we want him to hear you.
If I was speaking to me now, I probably would be speaking to everybody I was with. And I say this because we lost so many people. LA died, Slim died, J died, Juju died, Big died, Lane died. And this go on. So I probably would have kept it as good as possible and telling myself, like, if y'all won't stop, y'all won't back. Think about it, I got shot 7 times total. I'm only 28 years always just kept it really possible. Saying us, go home, you'll be like me. I just lost my grandma last week. That's all I had. I was told myself, go home to your grandma, go take care of your grandma. It was a lot of times I had my grandma in the streets all night. Not knowing if I'm come home. I'm not knowing she gonna get a call. So I probably just tell myself and tell everybody else to go home.
Is the streets work is what's happening right now with young person at these football games, these young people who are going out with parents now, for the fame, for the Facebook, for the notoriety, is it worth it?
Never. There's only two ways out. When you so far in, there's only two ways out. And I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna be in jail or you're gonna be dead. So you either gotta pick one or go home. Like I said, just go home. You use your family. But then I gotta point some of the blame on all of us. Cause I grew up in a project where we had a village and everybody can whoop you. No matter who you was, Miss Such and Such saw you doing something, she gonna whoop you, and you ain't gonna whoop you. 2-3 more people in the project probably whoop you. But you wasn't gonna do it again. I feel like we don't have that no more. Cause the first time you say something to somebody else's kid, they wanna fight you like, you know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be for the good. It's never for, I'm never gonna tell your kid to get this gun and go do this. I'm gonna tell him, he might not like what I told him the right thing to do, but somebody had to tell him. So I just feel like we need to do the good.
I want to go ahead and kind of piggyback about that, as well as programs that can be implemented as far as to help the solutions. Because you brought up a good, I mean, reset is needed, but it's people who can't reset, right? It's the girl who is already 16 with a baby, you know, and single, and it's people who just simply cannot reset. I mean, they can start their life again, they can go to school, but they're already in it. And so for those who are already in it, and like he said, there's no village, it's always gentle parenting, it's social media. When I was growing up as well, if you went to school and got bullied, you got bullied at school, you went home and it was over. But now you go home and you go on social media and you're still getting bullied, right? So it's still impacting your life. And then parents, they're busy trying to work, so they're not there for the kids, and they don't know what their kids are doing. And so we need mentors. So what kind of programs? I know the police are community policing. They have some programs there. But what are the schools doing? Where can people volunteer? We know that the urban specialists have nonprofit organizations where kids can go. But what about somebody like him? He has had time to help save his life right now. But what about somebody like him who doesn't want to do that anymore and wants another way? They want to do the training, but they don't know about it.
Pass my time. The boss over here. Tell us, but I'll take a little bit. And I'll tell you some of the things that are wrong. When it comes to public safety, it's always been about prevention, intervention, and suppression. Obviously, we all know everything about suppression. We have prevention programs that the dollars and cents come into. When people get into trouble, they get into a successful program, and if they don't get in trouble again, then that program must be successful. Where we fail, and what we need to do better is in the prevention, where kids that have never gotten into trouble, that we track and make sure. Now, here's the thing, and I made a challenge in a few business meetings that I've had with business when I said, to me, we have the data that shows where we're losing our kids. We know the zip codes, we know where we're losing our kids. All right, because I'll tell you, when I started here, we were at 4550 East Overton, right? Where those kids went to school, we went to that school. And that was the #1 most violent grid in the city of Dallas when I got there. And we went to Bryan Elementary, and I went to go visit 3rd and 5th graders. But when I went to visit the 3rd and 5th graders, I saw kids respectful of their teachers. They were excited to see us. I didn't see gangsters, right? I didn't see that in 3rd and 5th grade. But someone can walk into that neighborhood and say, okay, we don't need to do anything there, because these kids are big. where we know for a fact that there's a percentage of those poor kids that we're going to lose to the two areas that we don't want to lose them to. Like the young man mentioned, they're either going to be incarcerated or they're going to be dead. And we need to be better to analyze and use the data to know what we need to do. I've said this since day one. We can lower 90% of the murder victims in the city of Dallas. 90% of the murder victims in the city of Dallas are black or brown. Almost 60% black and 30% Latino. We can lower violent crime as we're doing now by 25%, but it's 90% of our victims, even if we reduce murder by 100, are still black or brown. We'd be jumping up for joy. And we're in it too much for the quick fixes, because as we can talk about 16-year-olds not getting in trouble and things of that nature from an intervention perspective, we want quick fixes. And the quick fix is this. The quick fix is if, let's say, if the quick fix is when those 3rd and 5th graders I went to go see at Bryan Elementary, and we track them, and they get past junior high, elementary school, get into a trade, or whatever it is, and when those kids are 18 to 21 years old, and we see those numbers not negatively represented in the two areas we don't want to represent, and that takes years, and we need to invest in that today.
Thank you, Chief. To your point, it's one of the amazing things that I've enjoyed being at the Dallas Central School District. They do have the vocation, right? For most of us, when growing up, it was either mechanic or wood shop. But now we have the HVAC system training, the plumbing, the electrician training, because the district recognizes that not everybody is doing it. So they're there, and we call them our career centers, right? Career East, Career West, and South Career Institutes. So they're there, and there's opportunity there. And if you can't do it by 8, really, the school district wants the student or the student to pick the path, right? But even if you miss there, Dallas County College has the same type of program. The beautiful Redbird, all that development of Redbird, it's there. So those opportunities are there. And again, not just the vocation, but the opportunity for our scholars, those who are on the pathways to before they make poor decisions, if you will, in the middle school and high school. There's so much being done by the teachers. Even now, in some of our, we have one school where if you want to become a doctor, they're taking students at 3rd grade and start building them up. We have P-Tech, right, for police, fire, for nursing. The school district is doing a lot with the tax dollars to set up students for success. Now, to your point, what are we the ones who are on the ball? We do need more programs because there is a lot of soft handling, and sometimes that's the fault of the laws and the policies and all that. But this is where we need the community support. Like, for example, truancy laws. Yes, we agree. We don't want prison or the pipeline to prison, but you remove law enforcement's ability to intervene because now the law says you got to miss 10 days of school. And we all know if you miss 10 days of school before we can really start acting and taking place, there's a lot going on. And guess what that leads to? To dropouts, who then go into the secondary market of selling dope, stealing cars, carjacking, and shooting. Now they go to prison. So what did you really fix other than handcuff us from being able to really intervene? And again, I'm not saying we have to handcuff them and take them, but we're trying to figure out now how do we make this work? There's one thing we're working more inside our community. Because when you have Dr. Johnson in South Oak Cliff, you have to meet Principal Dort at Kingston High School. And they've got to do an analysis every morning, every Monday morning, what happened in the neighborhood and how's it going to get in my school. When they're having to do that, it's my responsibility to work with my old boss and my fellow Dallas police officers from our Dallas side to be in there, again, to help to figure out what's going on so we can help our principals, right? And I'll close up my part with that. With this is, for those who are really on the side, because I know exactly about BMT, right? I remember, okay? And like you said, so many young men died over nothing, right?
But what we have to figure out is, as you said,
That's what you're doing now. You lived your life, and now you're trying to make a difference. And so we have those volunteer programs at Downside Street. One of the things I'm changing is we're going to have a mentoring student program where students will be involved so that we can galvanize and bring in more of the community from the north, east, the west, so that we can be that for them and help them.
Yeah, I do the name.
I'd like to interject real quick because one of the things that he said was that he got shot 7 times, in total, right? And that he lost maybe at least 6 or 7 friends, right? Can we talk about mental health and PTSD? Because I know you have it in some kind, you may not have, I don't wanna just put that on you, but it's trauma. I can't imagine being shot that many times and losing that many people I love. And I think a lot of the kids maybe witness it or experience it, or lost a father or a family member, and they don't know it. And I think some of that also breeds the violence and the crime because they don't know how to express themselves. So I do want to just throw that in there as we talk about solutions as well.
And before you do, let me jump in right quick. Before you do, I gotta say this to Walter. I gotta say this, because I think as you get ready to round out for the solution part of it, I think the group, and I think it's evident that when you look at this panel of experts, that everybody has this passion or this desire to see
What's in our neighborhood no longer exists. He said 12 young men that he know have died.
and we all
All those young men have died. And so, when you listen to
this panel, from chief
this, both of the chiefs, George, and then
well, you see that we all connected on this idea
idea of how can we stop mothers, and I see my dear lady Jackie back, raise your hand, from prematurely
burying a son, and that's where we connect that, right? But oftentimes,
I just say this for every discussion, we
that relationship with law enforcement
is integral to public safety. We stand on it.
we don't hide from
That
it.
we don't play about that. We stand on it, right? Chief, have I called you and told on somebody? And that ain't the relationship. But we know that there's some young people in our neighborhood who not, so it is a
Demographic of young people
in our neighborhood who not gonna listen. They're not gonna listen to me, they're not gonna listen to JoJo, they're not gonna listen to nobody.
And as George said, when you just said, hey man, what are those scared
Program, what are taking you to jail for a day? Some people in our neighborhood say, man, that's too much, that's, because
some people don't
understand that this,
at some point, this is what it takes.
when we trying to, is
Parents scare their kids. Oftentimes, George,
what you saying is never represented in the conversation, right? It's never represented in the conversation, but us as smart individuals, we know that it has, what we see and what we witnessing now, we have to do some different things, right? We have to do some different things to address it, because grandmama in the neighborhood who can't plant in her garden, because she gonna get hit with a stray. At some point, we can't be quiet and say, oh, it's okay, that's just what Johnny right there, crazy. At some point, and grandmama's scared. At some point, as a community, there's a saying that says, if the young youth don't feel the warmth of the village, they'll feel the fire, they burn it down. So we gotta get off our butts, because a lot of us have bought into the narrative that our young people, they're a different breed of young people, that you can't get to them, that you can't help them, and that so as a result, everybody been hands off. I ain't talking to them, they crazy. We gonna just shoot you.
and we bought that narrative. But the difference is, when we were growing up, and I was in prison, when we were growing up, we had mentors.
That's what I'm saying. We had people who imparted
Information in us. We had a pause. We had some, when we walked on the church ground, we won't even cuss because of what they put in us.
right?
So when we buy the narrative that these young people are so off the chain and you can't reach them and all this good stuff, it's a generation of young people who are growing up that don't have
No importation of knowledge.
this sister right here, right now. This sister right here was my first introduction to consciousness.
I was going to a program called Dallas Youth Service Corps.
I was going because my cousin, we were like this, and he was on probation, and I just wanted to go
With him to make sure he complete probation and go to prison. That's the only reason I went. But I met Neil Cameron. Neil Cameron opened me up to meet Willis Fleming, who was my prison mentor.
Willis Fleming opened me up to meet Bishop Omar, who was my freeware. Bishop Omar opened me up to meet Deion Sanders,
who was my other mentor. Deion Sanders opened me up so I could meet Chief Garcia, who was another mentor.
So mentors play a role, and I want us to land right there. Because it is my hope that the people that's listening
Out there understand that
this is no time for us to sit on the couch.
put our hands up on our butts and say that it ain't nothing we can do. That young man just said, did I pay you to say that? I didn't know what he was gonna say. That man, I just texted him and said, get her. This young man said I was shot 5 times, and he not lying. Called me on several occasions when he was ready to crash out.
Am I lying? He said, "Now I'm gonna
Crash out. He said, OG, talk to me. And I started talking. I stopped what I'm doing, came and picked him up, he was walking him around. Am I lying? Stopped what I'm doing, came and picked him up, he was walking him around.
But this young man right now is a father, is working, is taking care of his business. Why are you saying that, Bruce? Why is that important? Because I want people to understand. We can paint all these pictures. Is the police? Is the that?
And sit on our butts because we don't want to get out there like somebody else just said and check the rooms of our kids and check the friends of our kids and check the face social media. You paying rent and you paying bills. How the hell your son or your daughter gonna tell you what to do?
You gotta show them that love because they probably don't believe that you love them like that.
Because we so big. You gotta show them that love. You gotta say, no, you coming to this. Because just as I went with my cousin and met Neil, somebody here might
Been brought down here, it might be somebody that can change the direction they like. I see AJ over. Raise your hand, AJ. This young brother
right here was shot. What wound you shot?
Hey, he was shot in his face last year. Lost
His eye, his best friend died.
and we've been mentoring him because at some point he wanted to crash out. But Corey that's sitting right there,
The light
skinned brother sitting wow.
That's his mentor.
That's his mentor. He here because of Corey.
Why am I saying
Let me
this?
say this, Lucky, because I
Go
gotta
ahead.
get this out. Right?
Go ahead, brother.
Number one, Lucky is part of many individuals who had a level of consciousness to tap into him so that he could transform his life. So as a result of that, then Lucky, along with his mentor, came to the school along with Corey, who assisted me and played a role in resurrecting a school so we could have a school. Got with the gangs and etc. and said, okay, let's let these brothers have school. That's all we're going to do. Between 8 and 5, let us have school. The other individuals, see, we're afraid to bring in non-traditionalists inside of the school. That's our problem. It ain't the degrees that know everything. Everybody got a role. Everybody got a role.
Yeah.
When urban specialists came in, they were able to tap into young men based on their experiences that I did not have.
That's the monk in the room.
So we need individuals who can come in and identify with these young individuals that have street credibility, because I don't have street credibility, but I'm not developing a relationship. I'm not developing a relationship. We need those type of individuals to come into school. We need dads to come to school. We need mothers to come to school. What we at Roosevelt right now, the principal is absolutely doing that right now, and we're making a difference. The kids, there's a perception that Down Roosevelt was probably one of the worst schools in America right now. You come through that joker right now, man, it is great. And I'm telling you, that is the truth. That is the truth. So look at what happens. It's on the backs of individuals who have passion, who have a knowledge of themselves first. See, we let our kids listen to the very low level of music, and that music that they're listening to programs their brain. They're addicted to it because the chemical then released called dopamine, which makes them addicted. And so now they're thriving, and all they want is this music and etc. But what we need urban special. We need other non-traditional programs to come in. Also, So these are my solutions. Don't get me in.
We don't
salute both. Right. So, but here's the deal. When I asked the questions about school, was it the best place for it to be? It ain't that the school is not a good place. The issue is that we need to look at changes. Now, the gentleman who was with DIG right now, he was talking about social emotional learning just a few minutes ago about we do have P-Tech programs where you have kids go into an auto mechanic, we go to fire, we go to policing. So we have those things now at DIG. There's a problem. Because of the lack of parental support when you get to high school, kids refuse to go. They're not motivated to go. You cannot drop your kid when they get to high school. It's not that kind of quality. I asked my wife tonight coming over here, I said, question. When will our children be too old to hear from us? We said no. We said no. So we have to have a look at what school is really doing. I think we need to embed emotional acquisitions in all of our classes. Because in school, you said, well, dad is not at home, mom is busy, etc. Well, they're there at school 6 hours a day. Ain't that much learning going on? I'm being clear. You're doing the best that you can in regards to the learning, to the content areas and etc. But we're in survival mode. And so you can't put something else before survival mode when the kids may not even be alive in order to receive what we're trying to point them to. So we can get kids, when we get the district to look at possibility, embedding that into the school, we may have something wrong. It doesn't necessarily have to be, again, the individuals who are the teachers there, but with the individuals who will come in with specific expertise and experiences to get across that bridge, who can navigate and relate to the individuals in the school. It just makes sense. Just makes sense. And I'm done.
And y'all give them a hand. And I want to say this quick stuff with you,
Me and Cameron has been one of those principals
that stood on everything he just said. That's what makes him unique. That's what makes him special. Because he did. You and Bishop did that, right?
and if y'all didn't get nothing,
He said, you gotta have unconventional and untraditional ways of impacting kids. Because most people are afraid of it. You gotta have people that's not afraid of it. Oh, geez, that's our role. That's our role. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what we step up at. That's our role. I'm gonna be quiet so we do solutions. I'm gonna hear from Chief Correctional. But I never forget me and Bishop, the late great Bishop O'War, was at the White House, and he was proposing this idea for OGs to work with young people in the school. And it was an old white lady. Her hair was white, she had pearls. I don't remember who she was. She had a name. And she said, "Sir, are you suggesting ex-fellows working with kids?" And oh boy, you know, he quit with it.
he quit with it. He said, man, he said,
No offense, but it's probably ex-fellows who made the kids.
everybody in there fell out laughing. Everybody in there fell out laughing. Because people didn't even understand that. You saying brothers with backgrounds can't go to school, that's their kids in school. That's what they're gonna listen to. So I just want to highlight that. Listen, Jazz, I'm gonna kick it off to them. I'm gonna kick it off to you guys to offer in the order, like, 'cause I don't want to drag you out here all day. But we want the people on Facebook, the people that stream, and the people in the audience to have some solution, your solution to what we see as relates to violence. We want your wisdom, because this is an esteemed panel of individuals with the knowledge and expertise that they have. I wanted you to talk about DJ, but he's a great kid. You know, sometimes people don't understand that. He was a great kid, and I like what you said. I was damn good parent. That's what you said, yo, I'm damn good parent. Because oftentimes your voice don't get heard. Oftentimes my sister back there who was a good parent who lost her son, raise your hand. Good parent, real good parent. And oftentimes y'all voices don't get heard as mothers, right? And I want people to hear y'all voices. This is the platform to hear y'all voices. But I do want, Chief, y'all to offer us some solutions, because you believe in
you believe in that relationship between the community and
law enforcement, we go across the country, man, and we kill it, say, you know,
because he understands that, you know, he's just not teared up, he really understands that. One of our
first conversations was, he was saying, how do we
get resources to the community, under-resourced community. That's what he was saying, his words. He was saying that. That's why we were different. We were different. Because you don't get it. Most times you hear all people who work in law enforcement, they only talking about suppression and arrest. But when you have somebody who's talking about mental health and resources, and lack of resources, and I'm talking to you about stuff you don't see in the media. Because a lot of times the other mark in the room is we get so beat up by what we get the headline, we never read the detail. And we always stay shook because we headline readers. And y'all don't even know people make those headlines because they know you're going to be stupid enough to respond to them. You don't even do no homework. And so, we got to get on my attention. But Chief, we on the solution. I want you to offer the solutions to the community in terms of what you see working and how the belief that we work together to curtail this stuff is important.
You know, from my perspective, number one, we demand a lot from individuals such as myself and others that have a platform. That's the first. You know, we need to offer, and then we need collectively, we need to get to a place where we're having hope.
Yeah.
Where you know, when I first got to Dallas, I was in a neighborhood in southern Dallas, and you know, I was riding patrol with an officer, and it was during the nighttime, and I saw like 6 street lights out, like in a row, right? And I'll bring this back, I saw 6 street lights in a row, and they were out for a while, and I kind of sat there for a little bit philosophically, and I thought to myself, you know, if these 6 street lights were out in another part of this city, they'd be out for about 2 minutes. What makes it feel okay for that community to think that it's okay to have those street lights out? We need to do better. We need to reinvest in people and places, and we need to not just reinvest, but invest in places that we haven't invested in before. None of this happened by accident. And we need to reinvest and invest in people and places. I went to another community event in southern Dallas, where I saw a car that was torched on the side of the street. So, and it had been torched, it had been there for a few hours. In some other part of the city of Dallas, that car would have been there for about 30 seconds before it was gone. So I got angry as I'm riding my event, and I make a call, and I said, this car needs to get towed away. When I left my event, the car was gone. But I'm the police chief. Why did I have to do that? Now, I'm not saying that we didn't respond or no one called, but we all know ain't no one called. Because they thought that that's just the way we're supposed to live. And that ain't cool. You know, when the last point and this is where we need to tap in on the philanthropy of this city. Because I'm going to tell you what, I have been a police chief in 2 different states, in 2 major cities, and I'll tell you this, if you ask the right people, there are people whose hearts are as big as their bank accounts, and sometimes you just gotta ask. The last piece I'll say, and it goes in line where oftentimes we tell kids not to do this, that we don't give them a positive. One of the first people I met was Taylor from Fort South Oak Cliff. He gave me a tour of Fort South Oak Cliff one day when I first got here, and I go into the gym, and I said, okay, what do you need? What can I help you? And he says, Chief, we can use a projector. And I just got to Dallas, and he goes, and I go, well, what do you guys need a projector in here for? And he goes, Chief, there aren't any movie theaters south of 30. And I sat there, and actually, the only one is near police headquarters, quite frankly. And I sat there, and when I said that story to a lot of people that have been in Dallas for generations that look at me and go, what do you mean? And so I had a meeting with downtown Dallas Inc. that day, later on that day. And I told them the story that I want to work on getting a projector. Make a long story short, there was a woman who 100% came in and bought this projector. And the projector was like a $10,000. They got a little over her heads at first, and they put the scratch together to get the projector. And so people have asked, why does the police want to get involved in getting the projector? What's that? And so like I see smile, and I say, well, listen. When I have kids watching a movie or watching a presentation at the Fort South Oak Center, instead of wasting their time at the local car wash that's closed down the street. That projector saved lives. I'll tell you right now, I don't know how many lives that projector saved, but I guarantee you it saved lives. Because those are the things that people that influence have to take a look back at. What is our responsibility? We're not Southern Dallas, West Dallas, East Dallas, North Dallas. We are the city of Dallas. And every part of our community and city affects us all. And we all have a responsibility to do that. And so working together in solutions are really getting people that are in positions that have a plan, that have a platform, that can go and ask. And the last thing I will do, as we do need other programs to go into communities, make sure they have a track record. We need to make sure they have a track record, because in a society, in a community of limited dollars, people will want to come in and say they can do the job and have never shown that they can do the job. And so we need to ensure that we do those background checks and say, okay, you said you've done this, show me where you've done it. That's a challenge, I think, for all of us.
But he said. I'll tell you this, look, and Tom, I'm here not just because of your invitation. I'm here to tell you, each and every one of you, we need you. We need the police. We need you. We need your involvement. We need your voices. Sometimes we're facing opposition, opposing voices that take away our ability to serve in a different way, in a better way, right? But we need the community help, right? As much as we want to help and do what we can. Now, I have officers, and I know we have the Dallas Police. We have officers at Dallas SD who have volleyball teams, baseball teams. They do a lot of things off duty, right? To your question about the mental health, we have over 200 counselors, therapists in the Dallas Independent School District. We are one of the largest school districts, the fourth largest in the nation. But we have probably the largest mental health for our students. Because when things happen, I can tell you, same thing would happen again when David Washington was killed. Our young student that was killed at Lincoln High School, or Lincoln High School. We send counselors and everything, and there's constant follow-up. We have clinicians that we call our family centers, there are psychiatrists, not just for the students, but for the families. We try to help stabilize and to give support. We institute right care at Dallas Police. So we go out on the streets, we do follow-up. We have grown to know that mental health is a big part of it, right? Because it's critical, because for many of us, we have this, and as you mentioned, the family is the support. But those who struggle with family, like Jordan mentioned, she's busy working, but sometimes they need help, and sometimes they want to talk to somebody else. And like you said, it may be somebody unconventional. So I am on the committee for the school district as we're looking at our volunteers. And so through the superintendent and her support, we are looking at how do we bring in more unconventional, right? How does that look? And it goes a little bit with what Ed said. You know, what have you been doing so that we can show that we've made a mistake in the past, and here you've been doing these things. We want that to outweigh the negative, right? And I'll finish up with this. Wherever we are in our lives, there are those of us, we're all reaching back trying to help somebody else, right? I've got young men and women who make some poor choices. I'm not saying criminal record. Some had some records, right? But I'm working with them to try to get those cases expunged. That's another important thing. But they want to become police officers. Well, guess what? I went to college and I got my degree, right, and became a police officer. I'm going to lift them up so that they have the honor of wearing these badges so they can be not hurting for police officers. We have our pipeline, and we're building it. So when we all joke about the firefighter, nobody really wants to help however we need help, but we need you. We need you. I know sometimes we perform out there, we may have an attitude, whatever, but that's our job. Our job is to work on our culture, to do more, to be more solid. But at the end of the day, we do need your voices, wherever that may be, whether it's school districts, council, whatever. But as a community that's saying, we need you, but we're here also to say we're supporting each other, because we are a community. Like I said, it's the same manner as everybody else.
Immediate job. I need not to know, I'm not going to jail if I beat his butt. That's what I need to know, because I have a career and I got license and I don't want to lose it.
Just very quickly, I wanna thank all of you.
But this is the solution. That's why I'm thinking.
There's a culture here that has been
Established by our administration.
and almost every young man
That was here, and I was standing up, came over, and they introduced
that
themselves.
really shook my hand. And what you did was you just harmed me. You took my anxiety away. That's true. And I'm not afraid to speak, but you took my anxiety away.
Right? So why am I saying that in terms of a solution?
We have to start that speaking to them.
We cannot view all of us as human no matter what we look like.
Yeah, we can't do it. If we start speaking to one person every day, like you don't know, you begin to mend some broken images of who we are to each other.
And we need
The last thing for me is check out your tree of life. Every family got a tree of life. You need to figure out who you want in your circle that can support you. There's some individuals whose presence, they may not be able to talk the way you want them to. They may not have this high level of education in themselves, but they're in your family. Find out who's in your family that can help give, model, time, and excel. We have a tree of life. We're not excelling because we're so busy individualizing our own family. In some cases, because we have been so oppressed, we were so busy competing about who got what. Which alleviates us an opportunity to be able to engage with each other. Try that. I guarantee they work for you.
I don't have too much to say. I'm saying that, we gotta start looking at each other as a unit. This is how we talk about it. I do it sometimes too. We judge each other. We look at each other like that, and I feel like we gotta start doing that. And I think we're doing that some good work for each other. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we wanna, my boss, Jazz over there. She said, if this guy just we together. But we wanna take like 2 questions from the audience before we get out of here. That's okay. I promise we're not that around the way. We just gonna take 2, but we'll be remiss. And this is audience people. You know, I walk with Bishop, so I know how to cut people off when they go too long. You know, we leave that look, you know, trying to joke, because we gotta respect people's time, but I do want you to get your, question. I think this is rich.
Does anybody have a question?
Peace to the peacemakers. My question is to the young man here. My son was in one of the games that you talked about. And he also is a mentor to a lot of those young men that wasn't there that were killed, contract, a whole bunch of young people. And I had a conversation with my son last night. He's 35. And conversation with him tried to get him every night. And this thing's like, Mom, that one is, you're not ready. Someone gonna have to die off and go to prison. So, and he said something that you said too. He said, Mom, you know why these kids, these boys are doing what they're doing? But I'm just hearing something about this drill culture that's going on. This drill music culture that's going on. And so I asked the parents, how many of y'all know about drill culture? Right. Okay, let me see your hands up if you don't know. So, the drill culture is what you talked about. she keep the guy down and kids, you know, splatter all over the ground. I'm gonna blow his head off like a watermelon. This is what they're listening to. And this is what's being played in your household. This is what's being played in your household. And I asked my son, I said, let me listen to some of this. What's that boy, young one never broke, but is that what his name is? Yeah. I listen to his music. I listen to Young Dog. All it talks about this. I'm gonna give you something. This is what I've been listening to at this child's age. And it goes back to what she said. You cannot be your children's friend. The prophet God said, children come to you don't belong, but you have an awesome right to go in there and check what your child is influenced by. We got to do that. We've got to stop being afraid to be parents. Because at the end of the day, if you don't be a parent, they won't be a parent. And the time demands and nothing you can do. So again, I say this, but he said you cut those off. Be a parent. Go into that child's room. Talk with your kid and not at your child. That's something I can say. And my son is 35 and I almost lost him to the streets. I almost lost him to the streets. But at this point in time, we can talk. We can relate. But I would never want to be in that position that you are in, sister. And I salute you. Talk to children and don't be afraid to be a parent. And that's all I have to say.